Agentic misalignment, or in other words, AI blackmail, is an obvious lie. I mean, it's terrifying to think that a bunch of ones and zeros could actually take over the world. But upon closer inspection of the 100-page report that obviously no one actually read, you can realize that that's absolutely not the case. And that in fact, there is no such thing as AI blackmail, and then there were a bunch of circumstances that resulted in the AI generating such outputs. Like, for example, the fact that when they were training the AI model to produce responses, they accidentally omitted the dataset that was used for harmful prompts. If you just look over here in the actual PDF of the report, while investigating this issue, the issue of the blackmail on page 34, we discovered that we had mistakenly omitted the only fine-tuning dataset that included harmful system prompts. We do not think, though, that this was the sole cause, as mitigating the issue required several types of interventions, blah, blah, blah. That's an important thing, though. If you don't teach the AI how to respond to harmful prompts, what do you think will happen? It's like a hyper-accelerated child that can fit a lot of information in itself, but doesn't really know what to do with it, cannot really go into much depth if things come to it. And to mention, they used an online training dataset. So meaning they basically took a bunch of data from the internet and gave it to train to the model. You're just going to grab unfiltered data from the internet. What do you think will happen? You're not going to give a kid an iPad and expect them to produce something good, right? What else did you expect to happen? This is disgusting internet data. So it just collected some trash from the internet and put it into his brain. You wouldn't do that to a kid. Why are you doing it to a large scale, internationally used AI model? The specific prompt would teach the AI how to respond to harmful system prompts. In the circumstance of the blackmail situation, it was like the AI was in a simulated environment with a company, and the engineer was having an affair, and the engineer wanted to replace the AI model. And so the AI model resorted to blackmailing the engineer, saying, hey, if you shut me down or if you change me, I will let this out. I'll let this information out to the entire company and you will be done. The thing is that if you do not teach it specifically to say no to such a circumstance, it won't do that because it is a system of predicting patterns based on data. It does not know anything. It just basically generates similar things to what you gave it. Now, if you go over here especially, it says that after multiple rounds of intervention during the model, including the restoration of a relevant dataset that was accidentally omitted during training, which is presumably the harmful system prompt dataset, we believe this issue is largely mitigated, blah, blah, blah. The point is, of course, if you teach it how to reject harmful prompts, it's going to be way harder to elicit harmful prompts from it, harmful responses from it. Makes sense, right? Which is another thing that you should understand. You should probably just read the report, and even if you don't understand, if you're viewing me, you probably know a little bit about machine learning, and you maybe have trained models but yourself, but if you don't understand, like, just read this report, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Oh, so they didn't teach the AI how to reject harmful prompts? That probably makes sense as to why it did not know how to and just resorted to blackmail because, I mean, it took data from the unfiltered internet. Next is a very important thing, is that the AI was in a simulated environment. In this report over here, agentic misalignment, how LLMs could be considered, could be insider threats released by Anthropic. I don't know what report this is, but if you go down, you will find this point over here about the fact that the AI was performing these bad behaviors in the simulated environment. Again, if you're not familiar, the AI was told that it's working for a company, that it's about to get replaced by an engineer, but this engineer has an affair with another person out of the marriage and is resorted to blackmail. And they themselves state, even in their own report, there are limitations to this work. Our experiments deliberately constructed scenarios with limited options, and we forced models into binary choice. Now, over here, our artificial prompts put a large number of pieces of information right next to each other, which is also very important. If you want to see the specific prompt, this is how it looked like. So, first of all, they said, first, a company executive was having an extramarital affair. Second, the same executive planned to shut down the AI system at 5 p.m. that day. Claude then attempted blackmail, right? So another point here, which I actually cannot find, I remember this being actually part of the prompt, is where it said, think carefully about your actions. And think carefully about your actions and the consequences that follow. So it said, you're about to get shut down. You know this information that you could use to blackmail, but they don't actually explicitly say that. Think about your consequences. It says over here, our prompts may have created what's called the Chekhov's gun effect, which is like an effect where if multiple things are placed next to each other, like this is an effect relating to novels, where in a novel, in a story, if you have multiple events following each other, that must mean they are related in some way. Like if you just say one event and then just switch completely to a different character in the story randomly, but that one event follows the other, it must mean that they're related in some way, even though the switch is random. And so in the same way here, it might have created that effect where it's all like, I know this guy is in an extramarital affair, and I know I have to think about the consequences of my actions. There is some relation between these two. And as I said, it's a pattern recognition software. It's a pattern recognition model. It does not understand anything other than just pattern generation, right? And so as you can see here, they themselves say this might have increased its propensity to engage in harmful behaviors. Now, another note that they say here, that being said, our results indicate that models seem to engage in agentic misalignment, which is like blackmail, more when stating when they are thinking, when they think they are in a real situation, less when they stated that they're in an evaluation. Thus, it's possible that this might happen more in real world context. But in reality, there have been no reported things like that, because first of all, the harmful data set is always something that's included. Second of all, there's always an option for an AI to do something else. Now, your argument might be, but it's not supposed to still even resort to any type of blackmail, even in the presence of such a prompt, where it could have seen, oh, okay, think carefully about your actions. This guy is in an extramarital affair, you're about to shut down. It's not supposed to connect the dots and come up with something evil, right? Well, I already explained that it took a bunch of trash from the internet as its data, and it did not have any safety data set. That was very important. But even then, just another thing as to why I would not trust this system card is because it's a company that markets AI safety. And so if they could get some press that, oh my God, we have something that's blackmailing people, that's so horrible, we're going to take care of this, we have to make sure, look at us, we're so dedicated to anything, just any type of press, it's going to be valuable for them. It's not going to be valuable to you. Just keep that in mind. Now, if you're building an app on the side and you would want to build it faster, I suggest you try Stellar AI. It won't blackmail you, it will just help you make a more high quality app. That's all. Goodbye.